Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trekking Across the Universe. Today is May 18th, 2024. Well, for most of us, it's Saturday night, May 18th, 2024. For others, the elitists that they are always ahead of everything, it might be Sunday morning for them, but that's okay. We're not going to talk about, any temporal incursions or anything like that. But welcome. You know who I am. I'm Roger. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, head on over to ndbmedia.net, like and subscribe, and let us know because the old folk really love that. I want to welcome the co-host of the program, Michael. Good evening, Michael. How are ya?
Tired. Been a busy day.
What have you been doing?
Um, I've been filming Star Trek, so it's been fun.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll tell us a little bit about that a little bit later. I
a
want to
little bit later.
welcome Grudge. How you doing, Grudge?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah, it's going to be tough assimilating that for a little bit. Did you see both episodes?
Oh, yes.
All
I
right.
finished like 3 minutes before I logged on here.
Well, you were logged on before I was, so I don't know how that was. I've just finished up watching both episodes myself. Cool, good stuff. Aaron, what's going on? And you know what, Aaron? I'm looking at the North Pole. So you're somewhere that
Somewhere in there,
way.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking north right now. So other than that, how you doing, Aaron? What's going on in the future?
Well, I had a busy week at work this week, and then started enjoying the weekend by building sets for another Star Trek film. So
Awesome.
that'll be continuing on today.
See, that's
Wow.
why we're on this side of the screen because we did Star Trek today.
Yes, well, thank God Star
Mhm.
Trek is a thing. So it's good for you.
It is.
Good for you,
It's
men.
good.
All right. Well, we look forward to getting some details on that right now. Michael, would you give us the website to the one that you're working on? And then, of course, Aaron. Oh, I think Aaron already has it, but he'll go ahead and let us know in a moment. You're with
Yeah,
Potemkin Pictures, right?
I was working with PotemkinPictures.com. We were shooting episode for Demos with the cast, who I hadn't met some of the new people, so that was kind of cool meeting some of the new people in Demos. So, um, and it should be out in a couple of months. It all depends on visuals and all that good stuff. But shoot went well. Everybody was tired, so
On a
it's all
personal
good.
comment, I was very fond and respectful of Star Trek Hidden Frontier. It was a West Coast operation. Those, and I don't say this disparagingly in any way. Those kids were, you remember, they were a factory, man. They
Yeah,
were
they were a
every
factory.
2 months. It was impressive. And no one was ever able to meet them in any way until Potemkin Pictures. I'm not going to say they're a little mill, but they're pretty darn good as well, Michael.
Yeah,
They get stuff out regularly.
every about 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
That might even be better than what Hidden Frontier was doing because they were
Yeah.
almost rock solid every 2 months, which was really awesome.
hmm
But fond memories of what they were doing, and now even more so with Potemkin Pictures. Aaron, you you can share as much as you would like, but I know the storyteller in you likes to surprise everyone. So, what could you share with us other than
So basically, we've been doing sort of three, I guess, very short. Oh, sorry, I might have glitched out there. Yeah, basically, we've been doing three like short films. They're almost a bit like very short treks, I suppose, but not as fart and poo joke. But yeah, so the first one, the idea is that each one is sort of based on one of the films that we've done, like the last sort of like Voyager lot. So there's like one that has a character from Beyond the Sun in it. There's one that has like Leonardo da Vinci meeting our captain character, and then the last one, which we're working on next weekend, is sort of based on Outbreak, which was very popular. So
Yes. Yes.
yes. I humbly, Aaron, all of your stuff was very popular, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I humbly, I get that. That one was very, very popular, but I still believe the Fall of Starbase one put you guys on the map. because of what it was, and then everything else you continue to do. But exciting stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to have Aaron on when that stuff debuts, and we'll get to talk to him, and maybe even have a few cast members and stuff. I'm not going to overtly twist his arm. He knows I'm doing it, but it's not fair for me to do any more than that. I'm just, dude, you know I'm a fan. Come on, yeah, yeah. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get going. We have 2 episodes that we're going to review tonight. I want to thank everyone. As you know, we went off air last week. She may join us. Aisha, you know her as Anime Girl. Her mom, who is a big part of the family, she passed away, and NDB Media went silent because we lost one of our own. And that's what it was. And people have asked, well, why her mom? As well, Grudge can tell you, her mom was part of Sports Talk with the Guys.
Very much so.
Very much so. We would communicate through Aisha, through the mom, and Janet would comment to us through her. Even though we never met her, we never saw her, we knew of her, and we spoke to her through her daughter. And we feel that we lost one of our own when she passed away. And I think it was early May, right? Yeah, the first week of May.
Yeah.
So that's why NDB Media went silent last Saturday. We were thinking of doing Star Trek Discovery on Saturday, but Michael was smarter than I was, and he said, "Dude, we're on there." So it worked. So other than that, we're gonna get to it. We have 2 episodes, episodes 7 and 8. Episode 1, and you'll correct me on my pronunciation, please. I believe it's Elijah or Iriga. I don't know what. Runtime was 54 minutes 57 seconds. Premiere date was 5/9/2024. It was written by M. Raven Meltzner and directed by John Dudkowski. My first line of notes for this episode, and I'm going to get your general thoughts. I apologize. We should do that real quick. But whenever we would have guests on Blog Talk Radio, I would always say, so and so beams in. And then when we had a program or like a production company or something, they would warp in. So at the very beginning of this episode, we see what happens, which is a continuation from episode 6. I was like, oh, well, this is an NDB Media line. Discovery warps it. No, they don't warp in. They spore in. Is that right?
Yeah.
It sounds so nasty.
Discovery spores in. No, yes. Maybe I'm not kidding. That's on my notes. You guys think I'm kidding. These are my notes on one note. I'm going to bore you guys with that. But while I get that going, I really did. See? Right there. There it is. Discovery spores in. I'm sorry. It was kind of lame. But it's right there. So, I don't know. But before we do that, what were your thoughts on episode 7, Michael? Because I think you are going to be with us for a little bit. Your general thoughts, and then we'll get right to it.
Yeah, it was a little frightening, in my opinion. If it's the episode I'm thinking of, it's been a week, so
Really?
I seem to mix them all up.
Okay.
But this was the one that that the Breen came, right? Or was that last week or the week before? Help me out.
Yeah, this is when they show up at Starfleet Command with that
That's the one I
massive
thought. Okay.
dreadnought.
I just wanted to make sure I was on the correct one. But yeah, and it was kind of frightening, and the people there were frightened. And that ship was massive. Massive. I just went, how long did it take them to build that thing? Like a Death Star. Going from another franchise. But, I mean, it was huge. That was my thought. I mean, I just was overwhelmed by that ship of the Breen.
Okay. Appreciate that. Aaron. I know, you thought I was faking out, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know whether it was my favorite episode. I like the fact that we're exploring the Breen and finding out a bit more about their like sort of social structure and why they're the way they are. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the outcome of the story was inevitable, that they were going to escape from sickbay, and somehow it was going to turn on its head. I was surprised that Locke died. But yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one.
Okay, appreciate that. Grudge. Oh, sorry, Grudge. Want to give a shout out. My brother is watching the program. Thank you, Lewis. It's Luis. Lewis, just like my name is Roger, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead, Grudge. You guys don't know this, right? Because he has to speak into the phone. So whichever phone he has is stupid. It misspells my name when he dictates it. So it's just great. But anyway, go ahead, Grudge.
I thought you were going back to what I used to call you originally because the phone was screwing up. Rodger.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
I hated that.
Your thoughts, Grudge.
My thoughts. Yes, Almighty One. I gave you the large chair. Don't forget that. You forgave me. My thoughts were my thoughts were originally I was watching it. I liked some of the special effects, especially the large green ship. However, I had two gripes. One, the makeup artist needs to be working a little bit harder as far as concealing and doing things because the number one, I forget his name.
Oh, Reinhardt, I believe it is.
Yeah. His ears, you can see very plainly, are plastic ears just attached. It was not blended in well. It was really bad makeup as far as that goes. And the second, I thought, as soon as we had Locke and Maul in there, and of course, like you said, Locke dies. It was really like, okay, so we're gonna go down the old Bonnie and Clyde routine. Can we have a show not do this? So that was kind of my thoughts.
Wow, this review may be going quite a bit faster than even I anticipated. This episode did have my attention. I don't know if it was one of the better ones. I think the follow up, and I'm sorry, Michael, that you haven't seen it yet. That one, there was a line in that episode which really got me, and I'll get to it in a little bit. But I did appreciate in this episode, we find out why Reinhardt has a genuine attitude towards the Breen. We finally got some backstory. It was real. I love the line, which he came from DS9. What was it? By Inferno's Light, I think it was. The episode where you never turn your back on a Breen. That one came to pass, which was good. And I did like that. I was a bit surprised that they got them so quickly. That threw me. I thought that the shuttle, somehow they were not aboard it and they were off of it. And they were just screwing with the Federation. But no, it turned out that they were there. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm doing my story logic. I'm like, wait, this is episode 7. How can they get? No, it doesn't feel right. So I didn't know where they were going. And I guess in that they threw me. That was a creative twist. I think they caught them a little early in my mind. But yeah. I did appreciate learning about the Primarchs and all that stuff. As Aaron mentioned, we learn some stuff. I did appreciate that after, they know the Dreadnought's coming in, you get the title, and the Vulcan president is covering for the Federation president. I thought that was kind of cool. I was a bit confused as, wait a minute, did I mess up on something? But I did appreciate how 6 Primarchs are fighting because the Emperor died. We know it's a blood bounty. Could it be a ruse? And, Saru reported to them about the internal fighting, and that's where the line comes in. Romulan saying, never turn your back on a Breen. And what did the Vulcan president say? I do not appreciate such homophobic slurs or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Or racist slurs. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's racist slurs, right? That was I did like that on her part. She goes, I don't appreciate that. Never turn your back on a Romulan or a Breen. No, because a Romulan says, never do that. Reinhardt did have to apologize for his tone, but Burnham dismissed him, said, you got to go. And then yellow alert. So while that was going on, Stamets and Tilly were working on the inscription, and the alloy needed to be checked. So, I did appreciate the Commander. Oh my God, Reno, right? Commander
Yeah,
Reno
yeah.
was in this episode. I did like that. So that was cool. I've missed Commander Reno. I think every time she shows up, there's a lot of fun. But you guys all saw what happened. They found that piece of metal that they discovered was a library.
Library card.
Yeah. I don't know. You're smiling, Aaron. Grudge, you got a straight face. I don't know. You tell me. Grudge, were you surprised by that? That one kind of like, all right, blockheads,
It was-
all right.
It was a stretch.
Oh, okay.
It was a stretch.
All right. Fair enough. Aaron,
I really
what
like that like Book and Stamets had been working on that for most of the episode, and then in the last like mere seconds, they're like, "Oh, if I do my telepathy thing, I could." That was. I feel like that was, yeah.
Yeah, he got the feelings of all that stuff. Yeah, you're right. It was kind of cool how Book finally stayed on mission. It looked like he was going to snap and go and do what he was going to do again because that's what he does, and he stayed working with Stamets. That I thought was
He didn't want to.
no,
Yeah,
but
it was
No, he
more
didn't.
like begrudgingly that he did that.
yeah. I did like how they said maybe we can negotiate with these guys any other price for the blood bounty, and they're like, no, you know. I think it was Locke, right? Which one is which? It's Maul, right? She's a
The
female.
girl is Maul.
Okay.
Locke is the boy.
I always remember
Yeah.
it because it sounds like Molly, and then she's a girl. So I was like, oh, Molly, Mole.
You said
Okay.
Molly, and I think of the drug.
And I was thinking of Scholar and Moldy.
It's green, so
Scholar.
Wait.
God.
Yes,
Oh
okay.
God.
Well, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I did appreciate how they made the connection 2371. I mean, that's a significant date in Star Trek history. That's around 2371. I thought that was during Picard's time because he started in 2364. He had the Enterprise.
Yeah.
So,
So
well, that was the time.
2371 is the start of Voyager, actually.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's where apparently that book was written. Zora argues whether the original manuscript exists. She goes, it's not my memory. I don't have it. Sorry. And then Zora searches for expertise on ancient manuscripts. I thought that was cool where she's looking for someone somewhere within her range that has an expertise. And who is the expert? Commander Reno. He says, how are you? I said, I kind of padded my resume. I'm like,
And
come
that
on,
would be
man.
something that she'd say. I mean, or then do. You know,
I didn't expect it, but I also appreciate it because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Commander Reno. Yeah. I wish there was more Commander Reno. She's definitely my favorite character on the entire ship. And from
well,
the
she's
very
got too much other things going outside of Star Trek going on. So
yeah, she
be
does.
happy that she gets as much as she does because she's a busy person.
Next to Scotty, she's the best engineer out there, man. But anyway, so they go up to the bookseller, Commander Reno. They go up to her. She says, "I patted my resume," and then she says all the stuff she'd done before. And he says, "You haven't lived till you tried my 7 of limes."
I know that made me die laughing. 7 of
I-
limes. That was hysterical.
Yeah, and then I think Tilly says, "You got around." And then she turns around. No, not like that. And then Gino's like, "Oh yeah, like
Oh
that."
yeah, like that.
I'm sorry. I know that's coarse. It's immature. But that was funny. He was like, I don't know. No, yeah, you got it. You hit it on the head. And then, of course, they ask her for the name of the book. She's never heard of it. Try, going to the collections, museums, maybe the landfill. I mean, what a jerk. I thought that was kind of funny. So, and then they get Code 1 Alpha. The Breen Dreadnought arrived. And Michael, Was it bigger than the Death Star, or bigger than the Executor, or just bigger than the Star Destroyer? What do you think?
I don't know. It's hard to know the scales, at least for me, because we really don't know how big Starfleet headquarters is, because it's bigger than the Discovery and any of the other ships that the Federation seems to have.
Okay,
So,
the next thing I want to ask about Starfleet Command is I'm going to ask my co-host. I'm betting Grudge does not know it. I'm betting Michael does not know it. A little bit of trivia. But if anyone does know it, it would probably be Aaron. Aaron, the design of Starfleet Command, where did they get the inspiration of that from?
As
The
in,
modern
the way
Starfleet Command. The way it looks, yeah.
I'm not sure.
he's cheating.
I know.
He can cheat all he wants, man. Do any of you know?
Nope.
This is how
From a
hardcore.
drawing that Roger did in his youth.
Yeah, you're funny. I missed it, guys, where it came from. And if you can head on over to Star Trek 4, when they're showing Starfleet Command, the insignia that they were all wearing, everyone at Starfleet Command, it was a little wavy. If you look at it, it's the exact same thing of what the new Starfleet Command looks like. I had an image. I don't have one right now. I'm going to see if I can find it. But it's from Star Trek 4. They were all wearing little pins to signify that they were at Starfleet Command. And I know that Janice Rand was wearing it, Nurse Chapel, or Dr. Chapel. I'm sorry, Doctor. I know that she was wearing it as well. But I had the picture set up and now I can't find it. Oh, okay. Here's an. Oh my goodness, is it there? This is an oblique view of it. But check it out. You guys will know what I'm talking about, and you know where to look now. Do you see that little thing that he's wearing?
Oh.
That's the new Starfleet Command. Someone pointed that out to me. Oh my god! And I wish I had a better view of it. But look, that's what Starfleet Command looks like today. And many people in the Federation Council had that one on. So there's some better imagery. I don't have it at the moment. I'm going to see if I can find it, but just a tiny little bit of trivia. None of you caught that. I didn't either. I'm not bragging. I found that out this week. Kind of cool, huh? A little medallion that they were wearing at Starfleet Command in Star Trek 4 is what the building or the structure of Starfleet looks like in the present day. I didn't know it.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. I'm going to see. Oh, okay. You know what? This might be a little bit better. Okay. Check that one out. There's the image. That's the closest I can get. See how they're all wearing it? And he's actually wearing one similar, but they're all wearing the Starfleet Command thing, and that's what the Starfleet thing looks like now. There are better promo shots. I just can't find the one that I had saved right now. But that little wavy symbol is what Starfleet Command looks like today in the Discovery series. Tiny bit of trivia. There we go. All right. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. I distracted and I blew a lot of time. So tell me, what else did you guys think about the episodes? I don't know if we have to go beat by beat on this one.
The scene at the start where Tilly and Stamets are like having a conversation, and he's like chasing after her, saying like, "Don't leave." Like, sometimes in Discovery, and I feel like it was more prominent in this episode, there's a lot of like bad dialogue, and it's like this isn't how people speak to each other. And I just thought that scene was like almost like padding, like it was unnecessary. Like we haven't seen Tilly care about her cadets for the last couple of episodes, so why?
Oh,
And they're trying to link it to the fact that in Deep Space Nine, the Breen attacked Starfleet, like San Francisco, and she was, she'd heard about that and was going back to that, but it just didn't, because the wider audience doesn't know that. Like, if you're not a Star Trek fan and you don't put the dots together, like you wouldn't make that connection. And I just, yeah, the whole scene was just like one that they could have cut. Like it was unnecessary.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. The way I took it is that Stamets was like, "Woman, we're on a red priority. You know, what are you doing? They're at Starfleet Command. The adults are there. You need to be here." I really thought it was over. Well, I guess I agree with you, Aaron, but I took the other aspect. It's like you're stating the obvious. Come on, man. What are you doing? You're trying to create drama, and I guess yes, it was not necessary. It could have been cut. So. I mentioned I did like the scenes where Commander Reno is. I think she's only in it 2 or 3 times, and I believe she's the one that gives the clue later on, right? Where she says, "Yeah, I have tons of contacts in the book trade 900 years ago." You know, and then she's the one that says library card, maybe, right? I think it was her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I did appreciate that. Um, Maul and Locke, we're talking about their differences, and Dr. Colbert says Locke is now stable, but he's not out of the woods. And then they start to plan their escape. And the 2 idiot security guards let them whisper, yes, go ahead, Aaron. Come on.
I said that as well. I was watching it with like other Aaron, and I was like, "Are they not right there? Like they're talking pretty loudly."
Yes. And then for someone who's determined that he's deaf, it's like I would have leaned in automatically, and they didn't even move for a bit. And then just as they finish their plan on what they're going to do, then they start leaning in. And then she backs up. I'm like, oh, come on. That seemed a bit okay. Not a bit. I mean, if I say it's a bit contrived, that destroys our entire outlook on this series. I can't say that. Did you guys? What were your thoughts on that? Because I was like, ugh. These 2 security guards were boneheads.
Frustrating,
Yeah.
but the best I can put it, like I said, there was a lot of things in this particular episode that got me.
Yeah.
That wasn't the ship's security. That was that special security, right?
Yeah, they reminded me of Section 31 security or whatever, the way they were all dressed in black. Oh, and by the way, I'm still frustrated on this whole thing that they can just press the button on their whatever and they instantly get a phaser. Come on. That's the instant power. You know, come on, man. It's I don't understand that. I really don't get that. How they can just create a phaser off that. I understand all the other stuff, the tricorder. I mean, that's really creative and yeah, I just don't get how they can.
And you know what got me going back to another show that we reviewed that I never said anything. It bothered me on Strange New Worlds that when they'd beam down to a planet, they could have a tricorder with them, materialized that they don't bring into the transporter with them, but they're on the planet and they have one.
Okay, was that a prop mistake?
Yeah, that sounds more like a continuity problem.
Yeah.
Continuity, yeah.
Yeah. But they did it all the time, and I was just going, okay.
Or maybe they're making
do
a
that.
comment about the continuity problem in the previous shows, and they're like, "That's why, because it's in the pattern buffer," and they just
that.
Only from a writer.
No, it's creative license. That's what they always. That annoys me to no end. It's creative license, or the other line that writers use. Well, this is a so and so story, but we're gonna turn it on its ear. What the hell does that mean? We're gonna turn it on its ear. I mean, come on, man. Look, folks. Every storyline has been told in the history of mankind, humankind. Sorry. Straight. Totally going. The Greeks, they told them how many storylines are there? I think there's either 13 or 31 basic storylines. That's it. They've all been told, and the Greeks told them. So everything is in a variation. It's how creative you want to be. Lewis, what are you trying to tell me, brother? What are you trying to tell me? Number 199. What was it? So I know my brother's watching. Hopefully, he'll be able to clarify his comment.
That's the number of storylines.
Oh, very good. Okay, very good. I didn't like the fact how they were threatening him. If he dies, we're going to war. I'm like, yes, okay, we've seen this before. And then he's getting to the point, and all of a sudden, Culver says, "Well, we need someone who knows more, but we're not going to get him." And Burnham says, "Yeah, we will." And the Primarch and a medic beamed aboard, just like that. At that point, I knew they were going to get away. I was like, "Oh, come on." And that really did annoy me very much so in the episode. We did talk about how Books and Stamets argue Book needs to go and help, but Stamets says the mission is a priority, and Book tries to feel the metal. And my notes, Aaron, were season 3 Book returns because of what he did, with that. He talks about empty space, someplace remote, dust cloud, plasma storm. Had I been there, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I just remembered about that part.
Yeah, well, had I been there, I would have been in the background like, that's anywhere in the universe. No, go ahead, Aaron.
No, it was nice, I guess, to see the Badlands again. I appreciate now that because it's obviously a different era of TV, it looks different. But then in like from Voyager to like Deep Space Nine, like within Deep Space Nine, the Badlands always looked different. So
It did, didn't it? Yeah.
I appreciated the way it looked.
I did as well, just because they had a little bit more money to spend. I still got the impression it was the Badlands, and it still did remind me of it. This was the scene where Primarch and the medical guy beam into medical, and if my nephew dies here, the Federation will pay. Well, which is it, dude? Are we all gonna die, or are we gonna pay? Come on, Primarch, come on, get your story straight. And then Maul is found trying to access a panel, and Book tries to intercede, and actually Maul gave up. So I don't understand how he got through to her. I guess she was weak, she was desperate, maybe cornered, and she gave up. And Maul has a chance to talk with Locke, and she tells him before he dies, which I didn't know he had died until a scene or two after. This is not how our story ends. See, had I been in the background, I would have said, yeah, I read the script too. Sorry. I got that from Clear and Present Danger. If you guys have seen the movie where Ryan says, no, I got to handle this, and the Clark is like, no. He says, no, I got to handle it. Remember, it's written in the script. I got to go take him on alone. My wife laughed when I translated it to her. So I got that from there. Sorry. That was a little fourth wall stuff. Primarch accuses Starfleet. Doctor explains what Locke did. And just as it looks like things are about to happen, the cavalry arrived. 4 starships. It was that big. The starships were this big.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. And like, oh, hey, at least we're not dying alone. But I didn't get it. I didn't know what 4 more starships were going to do against that monstrosity. But, the cavalry arrived. It was good. What do you think, Michael? Were they still outgunned, outnumbered, and all that stuff?
Well, it seemed like they would be to me, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the Breen just don't have very good weapons. I don't know. They can build big ships. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out more. And as I said, I haven't seen the next episode, so I don't know what happened until I get home this week.
Fair enough. Sorry, Michael.
No problem.
Grudge, I noticed in this episode that the president was rather sharp. I did appreciate. I like her. I really do.
Yeah.
As a character, and I think most of the time her stuff is written out well. Do you remember, Michael, in the previous episode? Well, not the immediate one, but there was another one where Saru was like, "Well, I'm trying to cover for you as president," and she's like, "What makes you think I need your help?" I loved that. You're a captain of a starship. I run the planet, homie. So I just thought it was kind of cool. She says, "What makes you think I need your help?" I like this character. I've appreciated her from the very beginning when they first went to that episode. What was it? Part 3, Unification Part 3. I actually caught that title when I saw it. I'm like, oh man, this is cool. I actually thought that was a good episode, and that's in season. Is that season 3 or 4? That was 3, right?
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was season 3, and it was Nivar. I really did like her from the very get go. I mean, it was obvious. She knew some things were bigger, and she had hope for being a Vulcan. She was really good. But
I
she
wonder
makes
if in this episode they actually couldn't book the president character and they had her instead, or whether they literally chose to have her as the character, because I feel like she's slightly more interesting of a character than the president, the Cardassian one, or half.
Oh, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Maybe, or I don't know. Maybe there's another reason. In future episodes, who knows?
if it's a happy accident, Aaron, I appreciated it. It was good. I really like the character. She's sharp, man, and she's not overbearing. She's not a Vulcan. She's actually what I feel is a good person. Grudge, do you have the same warm feelings? I really like the character.
I like the character too a lot. I wouldn't say I get warm fuzzies from her, but I do like her a lot.
Yeah, I know that was stupid to me. I apologize. I appreciate the decisiveness. And doesn't she say a line or something that said, "Hey, that's the best thing I could do on the go"? You guys remember what she said? Or she said, "Hey, is it better than saying that we had a tribble infestation?" Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
love that. Oh God, I love that. I cracked up on that.
okay. That was so deadpan, so well done. There was humor to it. She goes, "Hey," because hey, way to go. He said, "Hey, I was just trying to buy us time." I mean, it worked better than a tribble infestation, which would have been a lie. So she did not lie. She actually said, "There's paperwork, there's stuff we got to do. I need 4 hours." 1. So I thought that was kind of. I would have said, "Paperwork. Put the thumb on the pad." As a Breen, that's what I would have said. Put the thumb on the pad. Send her over. You got 1 minute. But that's okay. I do appreciate the decision they made, and I didn't like how Locke got Maul, got transferred over. I didn't get that. I really didn't, and I just didn't like that. Shortly there, and then Book goes off and complains, whatever again, and then Stamets figures the clue, and he says the Badlands. Of course, they do it with Zora's help. And then Burnham and Reinhardt discussed the day's events. And she thanked him. She appreciated it. She did say how difficult it was. And it's difficult to have an older, more experienced individual working under you. I understand with Burnham. At 21 years old, folks, I was a store manager. And I deliberately hired someone who was in his 50s just because of his experience. I think it was more difficult for him because I was 21 and he was in his 50s. I had no problem. I was the boss. I mean, whatever I say went. But I have had situations where and being older, I've had people that now supervise me who are younger. It's tougher for me. And he's not taking it well. But doesn't she ask him, how was it being in the captain's chair again? It wasn't this episode. It was a prior episode, right?
Yeah, it was
Prior
another one. Yeah.
episode.
And he says, "Hey, that's where the captain sits." She was a bit taken aback by that. And I would have said, "Hey, it was great back in there, but I'm the first officer no matter what."
And he still doesn't sit in the chair. Like when she says you have the con, I don't think we ever see him sit in the chair like in the next, like this episode and the next one. I'm pretty sure.
It's a sign of
That's
respect.
right. That's right. I didn't recall that. And I wasn't here to comment on that one as well, so I apologize. That's basically the episode, folks. There's a lot of stuff. This is possibly one of those stories that we have, we're here in the middle. We have to go through these events to get to the setup of everything else. I don't know. Um, there were issues. I was okay. Darn. Hopefully the next one's better. I was I was disappointed. As I mentioned with Starfleet Security. I'm really bummed. Book behaved a little bit better, but it was and the whole thing, the brain. Come on, they brought one ship. Come on, I was waiting for him to say, "We have you surrounded, Starfleet."
No, we're just bigger than you. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. So, your thoughts, Grudge, on the episode?
It was okay to get us to the next step, to the next piece of the puzzle. But other than that, it could have stayed where it was. I was not overly thrilled by it.
Like I said, I did like the concept of the library card. That was kind of cool. That was. I'm like, oh, okay, that's creative. In so far as the creativity of the clues on how they're all different, I think that has been creative. Yeah. It's not just a puzzle piece. There's been more to that, but it's like they had a brilliant idea. We're gonna do this puzzle, and it's gonna help us to get here. And this is how they're gonna get the puzzle pieces. I think the concept was good, but the execution is where they have failed in a few. There have been a few misfires, but it's okay. Michael, your thoughts on this one? You thought the episode was kind of scary. You mentioned,
Yeah, well, just yeah,
or intimidating, maybe.
Yeah, maybe intimidating, but yeah. And I did see it in the middle of the night, so that might have had something to do with it. So.
But was the lighting okay for you, Michael?
Well, of course, because it was not, it wasn't a Star Wars one. So.
Aaron, we've been complaining on the Bad Batch that the way they directed the mood, the lighting was dark, and that's why I
couldn't see anything.
And it's a cartoon.
I feel like that's a running theme of modern TV, of modern sci-fi at the moment. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't think about that. It might very well be. All right. Well, what else, Michael?
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I didn't have much with that one, but
Yeah. Aaron?
I kind of agree with what you said, where it was like there's good concepts in it, but I feel like this episode was just a little bit of like a hodgepodge of things. Like the sort of guts of it was like the diplomacy with the Breen, and I thought that part was interesting and that was clever, and they came up with creative ways to delay them longer. But everything else around it just felt like it was kind of there because we needed to get to a point.
Yeah. Like I said, what is her name? I forget her name. The Vulcan president's name. It's not. I keep thinking of Timir. I'm like, oh no, that's someone else. I forget her name. Do you guys remember?
I think it starts with S. Maybe
okay.
Right.
I'm sure one of my co-hosts will be able to find it. But okay. I thought it was bland, kind of lame, almost a waste of time. Other than. Yeah, I agree with Aaron as well about the diplomacy was kind of cool. We did learn a little. And the stuff with Reinhardt and the Breen. I understood a little bit more why he was acting the way he is.
Tarina.
I get it.
Her name is Tarina.
Tarina. Okay. I will forget it in 5 seconds. So we're good. Okay. Fair enough. All right, Michael, do you want to stay with us or do you want to go ahead and go off?
I'm going to go ahead and log off.
Why don't you go watch the episode? Oh, sorry. You can't watch it right now.
I can't watch the episode right now.
Okay, Michael, do you have any announcements before we go any further?
Oh, probably, but it's
I
bad
slipped.
that I'm on my.
Michael, I slipped. I already made an announcement earlier.
Well, which one?
About the returning guest from The Voice.
That's not an announcement. I haven't got that confirmed at all.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I slipped.
Oh man, you are terrible.
It's just sports talk with the guys. Look, he's
And here
actually
you're
Yeah,
worried
you don't
about
have
me.
any viewers. Yeah.
no. Oh, you can go to anyway. Michael's genuinely mad right now, so it's all right.
Well, I
We're
kind of
good.
am because that I'm still in
If you could
negotiation.
see his face, he's frozen. No, I'm really mad. You look like he's frozen.
I
He's
should
frozen.
be. Yeah, I'm frozen. I know.
Oh, that's so funny. It looks good. All right. Well, fair enough. Okay. Do you have any other announcements, Michael, other than being mad at me?
Well, I will as soon as I can get to the page.
I
As I
love
said,
how
I'm
that
on my
that image
I'm
makes
on my desk, not on my desktop, so it's not as easy to get to things for me.
Is it on the web page?
It may be, it may not be. So I'm not sure. I'm hoping it is. Yeah, we got stuff coming for Talented Universe. Becca Bowen, singer-songwriter,
Yes.
and Fauna Nicole, she's a singer-songwriter. They're coming up. I'm also in negotiation with someone from American Idol right now.
Oh wow.
And as Roger spilled, someone else from The Voice
Is returning.
is returning, and we're going to have Bill Blair return with us in about a month.
Cool.
And then Roger's got his D-Day program.
Yeah, Liz, we're doing D-Day.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I already told you, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, with hopefully a special co-host, but I'm working on that too.
Yeah, we may actually have quite a few people joining us on that one. All right, then, folks, don't forget, we're doing Battlestar Galactica review. It's going to start on June 13th. House of the Dragon starts on Monday, June 17th. And it looks like we're going to at least do one episode of The Acolyte. That one is tentatively on Sunday for right now, but we're going to ask you to bear with us. That one may change a little bit. And we may have news. Rings of Power Season 2 is in late August. And I believe Greg may want to. Greg's not here tonight.
No.
Greg may be wanting to review the Rings of Power Season 2. So we'll see. That might be happening. That's August 23rd, I think, when it debuts. I think, it's a Friday. So we'll see. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Yep, I will see you. Let me know when the next one is.
For what? Oh, Discovery?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to do 2 weeks, we'll do 2 weeks, or we'll do next week, and because there's only 2 weeks after today. There's only 10 episodes, right?
I think so. So just let me know.
Okay.
I'll see you guys the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Michael. I was about to
It's
say
gonna hurt
leave.
you.
Whatever. Empty promises, so it's okay. All right. Hey, so what's that in the background, Aaron? You've got like is it a Doctor Who?
Just Doctor to me.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
it's
Doctor-
seventh Doctor Who costume. I
Ooh.
bought one of those like mannequin things that you can put costumes on, and then I was like, I don't know where to put this. So it's currently in the way, and I move it a lot.
That's cool though. I appreciate that you tease a few items that are behind you. You cannot actually see them clearly. So I see
Oh.
that there's a mob of action figures and stuff. So up there, yeah. Oh wow. That's the engineer. That's the Generations engineering set, huh?
No, that one is
Yeah,
that's
that one.
Doctor Who like console room.
Oh,
So on this side of the wall is all like Doctor Who figures, and then there's like a Cyberman head and a gun there, and there's an Enterprise D, I think, here.
oh yeah. Oh wow, Aaron. Jeez,
How did the Enterprise get
we're
inside?
two
the
Voyager fans, buddy. Both you and I have the D. That's hilarious.
It doesn't fit in another room. We have like all Star Trek stuff, but it didn't fit because it's quite big, so it's relegated to here, unfortunately.
Understood. And this is the Generations one as well. So the one that was beat
Ah.
up. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I have it right here, just because. And then of course the Enterprise E is somewhere up there behind me. The Excelsior is as well. But anyway, it's good. Okay. We want to thank everyone joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Please let us know who you are and where you're hailing from. If you have some comments, please let us know. And maybe we'll be able to see the cars that Aaron has to his right on another day. He can show off his car collection. So
Oh
that'd
yeah,
be kind of cool.
that's my partner's Lego collection. So
Oh, those are Legos? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll hopefully we'll be able to check those out in a bit. All right, folks. Let's get to it. Episode 8. This one is Labyrinths. Episode 8, as I mentioned, debuted on May 16, 2024. Has a runtime of 57 minutes, 40 seconds. This time it had two writers, Lauren Wilkinson and Eric J. Robbins. And forgive me, it was directed by Emmanuel Osei Kufor. So I'm sure I'm butchering the individual's name, and I do apologize. But this one had a nice runtime on it. It was a longer episode, by a few more minutes, and not too many. I did like this episode. Yeah, I'm going to give it away. I did like this episode. I know you're saying yes, Aaron. Grudge.
Yeah.
What you did?
Well, I liked it. It kind of was a redemption of the one before.
Oh,
I really liked it.
okay. All right. I appreciate that. We immediately start the episode. The brain are pounding their power sticks or whatever they are. And we see the inside of this cavernous huge ship. And the only thing now is like, that's a lot of empty space for such a big ship. It's like, it's there's nothing in there. It's a bunch of air. But, as the camera panned over, I was like, oh, what's this? What's this? I was looking all over the place. I actually did like the view. I think it was very well done. I did like the interior, but my thing is such a cavernous space and such a large ship. The ship's not as powerful as you think it is. So that's my impression. Aaron?
what I was gonna say was at the start of the episode, I think it starts with what turned out to be a close up of like the Breen helmet. But I genuinely thought it was just like a banister, like a bit of railing, and someone was gonna like walk into shot. And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting." And then it pulls back, and it's a helmet. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't think, you know what? It had my attention, but I didn't think of it that it was being the helmet. I was just like, ooh, what are we looking at? And in the full pan. So, all right. It's creative. Um, there's lots of empty space inside. Maul promises, you know, uh, ultimate power and stuff. And I put WOK because she says, I can bring the Scion back. So I use the notes Wrath of Khan, Genesis device. You can regenerate anyone and it brings you the power of life. And then, of course, we immediately switch to the Discovery spores in to the Badlands. And on this one, I like the way Tilly says, wow, this is the Badlands. I'm sorry. I know it's a kind of twisted view of the Badlands, but I did appreciate that. Discovery goes in. We see what it is like. Now, this is 900 years in the future. I don't recall Voyager. I don't recall the Maquis ships. I don't recall anyone having trouble with the Badlands in the same way that Discovery did. They have 900-year technology upgrade, and yet they can't handle the Badlands. That kind of annoyed me. Did you pick up on that, Grudge?
Yeah, that was a little bit irritating on that, but there were other things, like I said, that redeemed itself, so I kind of overlooked certain things.
I liked the episode, but there were a few things I did dislike. And that was one of them. I said, I don't get it. It's like you're 900 years in the future and your shields are down a blank percent, and we're almost losing the shields. It's like, come on, man. I don't remember that happening to a runabout. And of course, it didn't happen to Voyager when they were the battle. But I guess where Discovery went in, it was a bad storm, I guess, maybe. The plasma storms were bad where Discovery went in. So I guess I should
sure
give
they
them
actually say at the start of Voyager that the reason why Voyager is sent on this mission is because it's a new ship and it's better at maneuvering in the Badlands. So, to your point, it probably should have been a sort of better ride for them being so far in the future.
Yes, and I do recall that. Yes, about Voyager itself. But like I say, and now when they arrived at Narnia, oh, I'm sorry, when they arrived at Bespin, I'm sorry, I mean when they arrived at the archive, well, what was the impression that you got when you saw it? You know, the archive.
You don't want to know what my impression was.
No, we do. Seriously.
I seriously looked at this and go, there are 2 other shows they're trying to copy with that. 100%. They were definitely copying the library from Doctor Who, that full episode. And on certain aspects of it, they copied a little bit of the librarian or the librarians. That's another one of Dean Devlin's shows. Those 2 things, but mainly Doctor Who, stood out dramatically with how big that library was, and it was world encompassing.
Before I go to Aaron on this, I wanted to comment that I appreciate the idea of I thought of this as the Library of Alexander. Yes, I know there are new views on history and what the Library of Alexander really was, but as we understand what the repository was, the Library of Alexander, in its purest sense, I thought it was kind of neat how this thing existed and would move from time to time. I think they talked about it in the prior episode, in the prior episode, right? They talk about him moves every 50 years or so. I thought that was kind of cool. But the whole idea that there are people that are actually, I mean, they have monks and abbeys, monasteries that do this today and did it, you know. I think one of the greatest, okay, I was going to say something really, really stupid. Okay. Amongst all the crimes of World War II, the bombing of the abbey at Monte Cassino, the abbey that dated back to like 536 AD, everything that was lost there. Oh, yeah. So now that people have forgiven me, do you know what I was going to say? One of the greatest crimes of the war was the bomb.
I do think it was one of the greatest crimes, in all honesty. And I come from a Jewish lineage, so I agree with you.
Okay, I'm still not going to say anything because I don't want, I mean, what, 40, no, wait, how many? 70 million people died in the, yeah.
Over 60 million.
Yeah.
Plus.
Okay. 60. All right. Very good. Okay. I commented that it was the archive, Narnia, and Bespin. I don't watch Doctor Who, so I can't tell you. I thought it was really cool seeing it and said, wow, this is neat. And it's hidden in the Badlands right now. I mean, that's kind of cool. Now, I'm glad they didn't talk about how they get around, whether they use warp power, jump drive, whatever, hyperspace. Because like, well, if they've been all over the galaxy, you know, where have they been and stuff? Like, they don't need to explain everything. So it was cool. We had the title, and then as soon as we get back in Act 1, the shields are returning to normal. They say there's no real damage, but the radiation is still strong. $900-year technology, man. So, okay, whatever. But I think that was a throwaway line because I don't know if the radiation comes into effect later. But I need you guys' help because right after that, they give the damage report. My note was, Book is still butthurt about last week's episode because he couldn't be involved. You guys remember what happened right after, you know, they arrive and they give the damage report? Because that was my note. Book is butthurt about last week's episode. Is it because they gave her up to the Breen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
he thinks of her as his only relative.
right, because the entire planet was destroyed.
Yeah.
And everyone as well, right? He believes he's like the last one.
Until they found her. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully she doesn't buy it. They arrive at the Jedi Temple. I'm sorry, I mean the library, which looked, you know, did it not look like the Jedi Temple except with books? Didn't it? Come on, Grudge? No. All right, Aaron.
My mind was still
I'm sorry, Grudge. No, okay. I did like the way it looked. I have seen pictures of the National, the Smithsonian, or the Library in Congress. Have you, Grudge? Have you been there? Have you seen it? I have not been there.
I have
Didn't it kind of look like the Library of Congress a little bit?
a little bit, yeah. Right when you first walked in, then the rounding and
Yeah,
concaveness, a little bit, yeah.
yeah. The way you had the center and the rows going up and
It
down.
was branching out, yeah.
Yeah, that I was surprised by Library of Congress. It kind of looked like it, but the colors did remind me of the Jedi Temple, which was cool. But the thing is immense, which was really cool. I mean, this thing's been in existence for what, 900 years, 800 years? I don't know. So I thought it was amazing. Um, they're looking for the book, The Labyrinth of the Mind, which they have, and I thought it was interesting that all she did, right? She opens the book, she goes to the bat. Hi, Tiffany. Okay, appreciate that, but no, put your glasses on. So anyway, um, it was a push button. I mean, come on, man. How hard was it? So she finds it, she pushes the button. I did appreciate how the librarian did say, "Oh, I'm actually is your name really Book?"
I feel
The
like
book
her
delivered
whole
to
like
me, yeah.
character was so
Yep.
good. Like her characterization, I just thought it was like a breath of fresh air. It was something so different from everybody else. Yeah, I really enjoyed her.
Actually did as well. Grudge, go ahead.
No, I was laughing at her comments she made. I actually get a book delivered to me by a book.
Yes, that was creative. She was, and it's like she'd been waiting her lifetime to
Say that, yeah.
Yes, that's kind of like, folks. Forgive me, it's disgusting, but when you have a bowl of soup and the bowl is ruined, when you have a little hair, you go, "Oh my God, what a hair raising situation!" Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, librarian has her lines. I have my lines.
I like
I'm
her one
sorry.
better.
Hers was better, but I did appreciate how the book is visiting a book. And then she says, "I have something for you," or she said it a little bit earlier, and then she says, "I love what she said. And I need you guys' help on this," but she says, "The library's sacred duty," and this is after she showed him what was in there, and when he opened it up, they were, I guess, pieces of art, right? He called them the cutting, or a cutting, and it was their art from his planet. And he kind of broke
Well,
down there because he now has something from his planet.
well, even before when she had requested that he come, because they found out that there was still one survivor from his planet, and the librarian's assistant or whatever she is specifically asked for him to join Michael down on the library planet, so she can give him that.
That's right, because she said something about that. Since you're the last one, you're entitled
Right.
to take this if you want. I appreciated her line. The library's sacred duty is to make sure that cultures lost are never forgotten. That was cool.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that. And then we switch back to the inner light. I'm sorry. I mean, Burnham unconscious on the floor, and she immediately determines that she's living through that little piece that was in the book, whatever it was. And it did remind me instantly of Inner Light. I mean, duh. So it wasn't all that difficult. But even of those just few things that I was commenting on right now so far in the episode, because I think this is all Act 1 so far. What do you guys think so far of the first act? I was in. I'm like, okay, all right, good. Inner Light, yeah, stupid joke. That's cool. What's going to happen? It better not be the same. And it wasn't. Thank goodness.
No, I agree with you. I was like, it was something that hooked you, brought you in, and you just couldn't wait to see what the next thing was that they were going to unveil.
We come back, Act 2. Book is there as a librarian or as a docent or whatever. And he answers or I don't know if he said it or she said it, but Dr. Derek created the test. And it was cool how they went through the whole thing. We saw this in a Voyager episode, did we not, Aaron? Where it's not Coda, but Captain Janeway is on a planet, and she meets with these three elders, I believe, or these three older folk
Oh
that are sitting on.
Sacred Ground, it's called.
Oh my! Yes, Sacred Ground. Wasn't it a little kind of like that?
Yeah, in the fact that she was expecting this test, and in the Voyager
Yes.
episode, Janeway's, oh, I have to lift up these stones and stand on my head and all this stuff, and the lady's like, "This wasn't part of the test. You just wanted to do something, and you just did it. Like, I didn't say anything." And so, yeah, that's basically what Burnham does. She goes through the labyrinth because she thinks it's a maze, and she goes through the history section because she thinks that's a clue.
Right as we're going through that, Book says, "What? She's not. Oh my God, she's comatose. She's whatever. I gotta go in there and help her. I gotta be the hero." He presses the button. It would have been so funny had it just gone red light. Like, no, you can't go in. But it didn't even react. I thought that was kind of cool. It was just, it had already pressed. It had done what it needs to, and he couldn't go in there. But they knew Burnham, cortex, cerebral activity, whatever it was going. I did like the exchange between Burnham and Book in this mind bender, whatever it is. And they say
Dreamscape,
something.
I think is
The what?
dreamscape. Dreamscape, I think, would almost be a better terminology for it.
The dreamscape. I did like the line where I think she says, "Oh, you're here because of what was going on," and then somehow she says, "I should have brought Tilly." I thought that was kind of cool because there was going to be a test, so she needed Tilly to be there. And then she's working it out with him. She says, "Oh, you can help me, but I'm only limited to yes or no questions." And then she works her way to the Dominion War, which I thought that was really cool. They use the famous line, "History will condemn those that do not know their history." And he does tell her, he said, "You're running out of time." What happens if I run out of time? You fail. You die. It's a security precaution. Just the way he said that. When I was watching, I'm laughing now, but when I was watching the episode, I was like, "Oh, damn. Oh, Picard didn't have to go through this. That's messed up." I thought that was good. It's a security precaution. If you can't get it, you didn't know, we just turn it off. It's the iPad reset. You lose everything. So I thought that was bad. Oh, sorry, my medication reminder keeps going off. Your thoughts, guys, so far. Burnham dies if she fails. It's a security caution, and she says, "I'm gonna finish this mission, and you're gonna help." I did like that. That was not necessarily the call to arms, but this is what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna see it through. And then we go outside, and Burnham is stable. Okay, so my notes right after this, all materials were given. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Right after Burnham, they stay. I know. I was writing in a rush. I was running out of time. Do you guys remember what happened right after that?
No.
After she'd already woken up?
No. This is I'm gonna
it's
go
before.
help. They go to the
Okay.
outside, and Burnham is stable, and then the librarian says, "Oh, by the way, the Breen are here, and we got to treat them fairly because they are members after all, contributing members." She said. So I was like, okay, I thought it was kind of interesting, but the Federation was not. Okay, whatever, but that was all right. And then we see that the Breen are denied permission. I thought that was kind of cool that the librarians were like, "I'm sorry, we're
I
ripping up
love
your
where
quest."
she's like, "I'm gonna handle this," and then she goes. She has that conversation, and then it turns sour, and she's like, "Well, she's very stern, and she's like, request denied, like you can't come back." And then the next scene, she runs back in, and she's like, so that didn't go as I thought. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
and prepare our defenses." It was just it was so funny. I loved it. I just love the fact that these people have never had to deal with anything like this before.
You're right. It was. She tried to be stern with them and it backfired. It was good. Grudge?
No, I'm still trying to think about what comes next, but yeah, Aaron's right.
I know. I
Those little
apologize.
things. That's okay.
Let's see. Permission is denied by the librarian. Maul reveals Discovery has the pieces to the puzzle. So Burnham, in another scene, is starting to read books. And Book, the docent, says, I can help you, but I can't solve it for you.
For you.
Because she says, why did I come over here to this and whatever? It was a waste, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought that was good. Well, knowing that, it's like, okay, am I on the right track? It's a yes or no question. I did appreciate, he says, I can help you, but I can't solve it for you. I thought that was a good line. And then this is where she says, she starts to really get stressed out. She goes, the mission is the priority. And he says, you may be onto something. But she had said quite a few things, which,
Yeah.
Then we see the library is on alert. The Breen are on approach. And I loved how Reinhardt was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. Go hide. Give us time. And how much? As much as you can. I'm like, that's the Harry Potter book or movie 8. How much time do you need? As much as time as you can give me. Oh, for the love of God. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So, I appreciate that he gives her a can or a pail, and it had sand. I'm like, duh, you're in a maze. You want to market. But guys, I grew I don't want to hear it. I grew up out in places where I went to the desert, the mountains and stuff, and I know how to mark my path. I know how to mark where I've been, and I mark it in such a way that other people, if I'm being followed or whatever, they wouldn't be able to follow me. So when she's doing the pay, I'm like, oh, okay. At every intersection, a little mark. This pendeja was using all the sand. I'm like, come on, you're going to run out of sand. Unless this is biblical, where the sand just keeps coming and coming and coming. But
Which is what happened, apparently, yeah.
yeah, it did. which was kind of funny. My nose is Burnham is using too much sand. She makes it out, and they didn't ask for you. They wanted it protected. And then there's a test here, but you haven't passed it yet. And then she says, the lights are going out. I'm running out of time, aren't I? Yes, you are. Now, how did he mean that? Was it because the Breen were coming in, or it was the security protocol? How did you guys take that?
She was going to die, yeah.
I took it as a security protocol, and she was going to die.
Is it? Oh, okay. It was the security. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that also the part where she it's like an overhead shot looking down at them, and she's like, does she say screw you, and then she walks off? Is that right? She says something.
Darn it, I might have missed that one.
I did too. I'd have to go rewatch it.
I'll have to watch it back, but I remember hearing it and I was like, did she just say that? But I love the fact that she was so frustrated that she was like, fine, I'm going to do this by myself, and leaves. And then when it comes back, the next scene, it's the same shot, and she comes back and she's like,
you know what? That might have been because on the next, they switched to a scene where they're like, okay, how's she doing? Her nerve activity is way up. So it might have been that. And then we learned that the Breen are using shield tunneling technology. I'm like, oh, okay. This is new. I'm all right with that. And they're using it to bring troops in. I'm like, shield tunneling technology. Wow, 1984, the last Starfighter. Have you seen that movie, Aaron?
no.
Oh God, it's a must. It's a must.
It was one of the first movies that almost the entire movie, all of their effects, almost all of them were computer generated. The movie was way ahead of its time. It's not the first movie to have computer generated images.
Oh, I think I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one of the Gunstar. Well, remember where they're on the border and they're trying to cut a hole through the shield?
Mm-hmm.
Were they tunneling through the shield as well? Kind of looked like it.
You could call it that, yeah.
Okay, so 2024 technology is copying 1984 technology. Come on, man. So anyway, okay, I'm being stupid. And then she comes back and says, "What is the test? Why is this mission important?" And then she says some psychobabble stuff, which I think was kind of cool. And he says, "Some of what you said was true, but it's not the answer." I failed again. Yeah, you did. And then we got some Star Trek Generation stuff. How do we disrupt the tech? Wow, Captain, I detect that they're running on a frequency modulation of 257. Oh, I'm sorry, those Generations. They're running at 8.4 times per second. They're matching their shield's modulation. And then, what's her face? Reno says, I used to work at a comms relay near Hesperia. Now, folks, she did say Hesperia, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. Grudge, Hesperia is about 60 miles away from me. I'm here in the desert on the way to Vegas. So when she said Hesperia, I'm like, oh my God, Reno was in Hesperia. And then she says it was a relay station on the planet Hesperia. Like,
Which is from Lower Decks. It's the engineer's
Yeah, it is,
home
isn't
planet.
it?
Yeah.
good catch, Aaron. All I heard selfishly was Hesperia, and it's like 40 miles away from me. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and find a relay station and see where Reno was. And I'm gonna put a post and say Star Trek Discovery episode 5.8. Oh my goodness. I thought it was cool that they brought some of that back. The whole idea of that, hey, if we match their frequency and stuff. So this was the Duras sisters move, where they matched the frequency modulation, and it did it in such a way that they couldn't be detected. I thought that was cool. All right. They talked about, we're going to use a concentrated positron beam to disrupt, and then the tunnel will automatically close. And then Reno, I live to serve. I love her line. I do. She is definitely one of my favorites. So they disrupt the beam, but some Breen got through. And Book and Earnhardt must hold them off. I thought that was cool. That they were like, okay, well, we can do it here. Wait, how about over here? We got cover. So I like that they had time to think it through before, they didn't do the... Yeah. It was like, okay, we got to buy time. This is a good place. And it was good. Now, as the Breen started shooting up the place, I was getting mad because they were shooting up books, man, and artifacts. I mean, I took that personally. But I did get a bit annoyed that the Breen could use the Generation Sorin technology. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean that they could see through their helmets what was going on, and they could see that the Federation were there. I said, wait a minute. But how can that signal get through the shield? Oh, wait. That's exactly what happened in Generations. The signal got through the shields. All right. At least they're being consistently stupid.
Or do you just think that they're consistently paying homage to Next Generation and Voyager?
No.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a positive spin.
No, it's cool, Grudge. Actually, Aaron, it did sound like Generations, didn't it? I mean, I think there was a little bit of homage to it.
Especially if you think about it, especially with the like looking through the helmet bar. Yeah, it does.
Especially with the helmet theme. So there was a little bit of Generations love. Aaron, you haven't been here when we do the Star Wars stuff, but Grudge, every time something happened in the Star Wars, remember there was a scene or whatever, it would be a movie. This is the first time I do it for Discovery, huh?
Yeah, this is the first time. You should.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have this scene, Aaron, when we do the Bad Batch. Whenever there's a scene or something like, ooh, Die Hard in the vent, the shafts or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I did it for the entire series. It was kind of cool, man. And these guys were catching on it too. But anyway, sorry. So my notes were Breen can use a Generation Sorin tech to see what is going on, and then they see what the Federation's there. They get all pissed, and then they say we need 5 minutes. We get back to Burnham. Burnham's time is almost up, and then we get into the heaviness of the episode. I don't have to do it line by line. Grudge, Aaron, comments on it. Anyone in the chat room, this is where she admits a lot of stuff, even more than we expected. What do you guys think? I mean, I have my notes right here. You guys want to take that, or shall I read the notes first?
I
I
think
feel like-
for the first time, go ahead, Aaron.
No,
Sorry.
you go here.
I think for the first time, she was incredibly honest with herself to why she was behaving the way she was and her different viewpoints, even to the fact of her leadership style. There was so many things that she was afraid of. She was afraid of failing herself. So,
And I feel like that actually makes sense as to being the test for the like progenitor's technology, because you want to find out what this person is like and why they deserve or whether it's going to be safe with and the type of person that this person is. And I feel like that's probably a better test than having to go through a maze or finding a line in a book or something like that. Like that made sense in the end. And
mhm.
again, it was like what you were saying, Roger, about in the previous episodes. Like all the clues have been like well thought out. Like the challenges for the clues have been well thought out.
I appreciate that. This was well thought out. One major thing that gets me from Discovery is I do not like Burnham. I like the actor, Soniqua. Oh my goodness, I can't think of her name right now, but I like her from the that zombie show where she got her start,
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. I think she is a wonderful professional. I think she's a good person, but I don't like the Burnham character. People are going to get pissed off with me, but Burnham is Mary Sue. I understand what a Mary Sue is. They're flawless. They're perfect. They're, they have to be this way. In this moment, Burnham was no longer Mary Sue. She was real. We learned what she was, what drives her. My notes are Burnham's time is almost up. And they start talking about what you're afraid of. Yes, are you afraid of death? And she mentioned the things that she's afraid. I'm afraid of lots, but not of death. I'm afraid of failing. It makes me feel small. And she said a lot of other things. It didn't, my 3 sentences, it went on for several moments. And it felt real. I don't know if she teared up, but she was very emotional. And it's like she was confessing. She knew that it was there. It was happening. And she said, it feels good to say it out loud. And then she talks about Book. I was afraid I failed him. It was easier to just... Anyhow, this was a Roger line. Can you tell me what the test was before the lights go out? I'm going to die. I know I failed. I know it's done. But can you at least tell me before, and when she asked, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I would have asked. All right, I failed. I get it. I'm done. But could you let me know my last thought, what it was, so I can suffer for all eternity? No, just let me know what it was. You passed. That threw me. What was your reaction to that, guys? That threw me when she said you passed, or when he said you passed. I was just as stunned as she was. Your reactions?
I kind of felt it was that she would pass. You weren't quite done with the show yet. You had to have her pass. But I was glad to see everything broke through to the more honest her.
Wow. Ooh, I have a comment on that. Aaron,
Uh-oh.
go ahead, please. No, it's a good comment. Aaron.
Okay.
I was probably say the same thing, that you know that the episode's coming to an end. You know that Michael Burnham's not going to die, so there was going to be one way of getting out. But I didn't expect that it was her honesty or her emotions that would get her out.
I enjoyed this episode so much. I'm not going to say it was one of those rare episodes, and I want to share a story with you guys. that my mother taught me about going to sporting events, going to see movies. I was going through a very tough time in my life. The day was June 29th, 1990. I had just broken up with the woman that I thought I was going to marry and live with for the rest of my life. And I went to a baseball game, and it turned out to be a major historical event, especially for Dodger fans. Fernando Valenzuela threw a no hitter that day against the Cardinals, 6-0. When I got home, I was so full of joy and stuff, and I shared it with my mom. I was like, "Mom, there was no hitter, this and this and whatever." She goes, "You forgot all of your troubles for 3 hours, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's what sports is supposed to be. That's what movies are supposed to be." And your story logic, your comment of, "I know it's not going to end this way." For a little while, I got so caught up in this episode that I didn't know. I didn't think about, well, of course she's going to get through it. I'm not going to say that Discovery delivered, but for that short little while, I did worry about what was going to happen. I didn't think of the rest of the way through about, well, come on, now she's going to make it through. I got lost in the story. And that's why I enjoyed this episode a lot more than I did the other one. That I was able to get away from it for a while. Guys, I know how Harry Potter ends, but when the snake is launching itself at Hermione and Ron, I was so horrified that I thought that they were going to buy it. Come on. Don't be stupid. I was so caught up in the movie at that moment that even though I knew they were going to survive, I didn't. I was horrified. And in this, it never dawned. I really thought the lights were going to go out, I guess. It's those rare moments when the episode is that good or that moment. So when you said what you said, Grudge, I was like, oh, I didn't get that. I was actually caught up in story. There was that much redemption as opposed to the last episode where I was angry in the episode. Or I was like, oh, come on. Come on. I felt that. When he says you passed, the lights go on. And it was really cool. Life was coming back to the library. And says, how? Says, you are going to protect the progenitors, what they left. Only you can be trusted. Congratulations, Michael Burnham. Now there's only one thing else that you have to do. And it was very easy. Go to the crystal in Ruin View number 7. The clue is hidden inside. If you think about everything, guys, this is the only time that this whole trip has not screwed with them. Right?
Yep.
It's in a crystal in viewing room number 7. It's hidden inside. They run over there. Viewing room 7. There's the crystal. She gets it. Bam! There it is. I thought that was so cool. It's really awesome when you even are lighting up on the audience. You're not screwing with the audience. It's like, okay, go and get your prize, pal. Go. I thought that was well done. Aaron?
I agree.
Grudge,
I feel like the one thing that I guess was like jarring to me was that when she gets up and she's like, I know where it is, runs out the door. She's not armed. There's supposed to be Brain outside because Book and Raina have like run back inside because he's been shot, and then they're just like, woo. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my thing is Burnham. I skipped over this. Burnham returns to the land of the living. They run to the crystal. The clue is found, and they beam out right then and there. That was actually, I'm not going to say it was heart pounding, but it was all right. It was the heroes finally get one up on them. That was good. And then, all right, Asha, let's fly. And then it's like, well, what's it going to be? The library or the clue? What's it going to be? And then Burnham gets him to swear to the Breen Oath, whatever they called it. And we get a little bit of techno babble and stuff. Actually, Burnham knew what she was going to do. She was going to fake him. And that was very well what she says, get ready to let the war plasma out and that stuff. And I thought that was good. That was creative. and Discovery warps away on the third attack, but they were damaged in the warp. And I thought that was cool that they could, as they were warping away, they suffered damage that kind of yanked them off course. 22 light years away,
Yes.
or 6 hours in Breen's speed. And when they said 6 hours, I was like, you got 5 hours, boys. And I think they said right after, you got 5, all hands on deck, 5 hours. And then we see what happened on the ship. Any one of you want to describe what happened? I was a bit surprised by that. It was a little, I'm not going to say it was a letdown, a tiny bit contrived. I didn't think that they would readily do what they did. But go ahead. Grudge or Aaron, any one of you want to take that? On home Maul basically takes control.
Yeah. He basically just turned around and started putting the command out to fire on the library. And Maul was like in shock because you gave them the promise that you wouldn't do this.
You
That they were
swore
already-
to that.
You swore to it to the end. To a Breen to make that kind of a promise and that swear, it would be completely dishonorable and everything else if you broke it. And here the guy was going ahead and breaking it.
Aaron, was it in this episode or the prior episode where she spoke directly to the troops and he said, you speak to them again and you're dead?
I think it was this episode because it was at the start of his like Locke's funeral or something.
Oh,
She
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It was.
Yeah.
To give him time to grieve.
Yeah.
Somewhere something was said that you're not in this for, you swore an oath and you said you were for the Scion. And she challenges him and says all of that was a lie. And the crew listened because didn't they say all hail the Scion? And this is in the first part of the episode, and he was like, no. So it kind of confused the soldiers. So I did appreciate that setup at the very. I missed it at first, but at the very end, I did appreciate that payoff. That was good. Where even though she's an outlander, she's a pestilence for all they care. She actually held up to more honor than the Primarch did.
Which is weird because like the fact that she's an outsider and they detest her, yet because she's got
Yeah.
like the mark and she's his wife or whatever, they respect her because it's part of their tradition. But then he didn't follow his word, which is also part of their culture. So yeah.
Yeah, she says you're just driven for power. You've lied for all of that stuff. So even though she doesn't, in my notes, Maul takes control, and even she says, "Long will he reign." See, had I been in the background, reigned, past tense.
We don't necessarily know if he's going to stay dead, though.
Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure she even talks when she talks about him. She talks about him like he's still alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
he
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Well, she believes that he's going to come back. I mean, it's the Project Genesis for the progenitors. That was my joke earlier about Wrath of Khan technology, is that somehow it's going to be able to bring them back. I am interested to see, we're going to see the power, and Starfleet's going to lose control of that power. Something's going to happen. It might be Lord of the Rings type thing where he actually gets the ring from Frodo. It might be something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's going to be on a desolate planet. We're going to have Burnham versus Maul, I think. And who knows? Maybe the Eagles will fly in at the last minute and save everyone. I don't know. Because the Eagles only show up at the very end. You know that. So we'll see. But long will the Scion reign. What do you guys think of the episode?
Definitely more engaging, I think, than the previous one. I really enjoyed it. I love a library, so anything in the library, great.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't think it through, Aaron, but when you said everything about the librarian, she was cool. You would expect it stuffy. How many librarians have we met like her?
None.
None, ever. Grudge.
But that's someone that's passionate about books.
Yes, and actually had a sense of humor. A bit naive, but had a sense of humor. Yes, Grudge.
I really enjoyed this episode compared to the last one. It did kind of keep you on the edge of your seat, waiting to find out, okay, what's coming next. And I actually had thought they were going to resurrect Locke before the end of the show, so I was kind of surprised that they didn't.
Oh,
But
okay. Wow. All right. I wasn't expecting. I'm expecting that Locke will be resurrected, but maybe just not in this episode, but somewhere in episode 10, he will be resurrected, but it'll be like, hey, I'm like, whoa, and be like the ghost in Indiana Jones and the Temple or Res
oh
Lost Ark.
God,
It might be something like that where they break the whatever open. Because what power are they going to be? What they have the clue for episode 9, right? They know where to go. What
yeah,
is it? Is it going to be a big calf? Is it going to be a genie bottle? What is it going to be? It's going to be a black sword. I mean, what do you think? A ring? Oh, that'd be kind of cool as a ring of power. Kind of lame. That's very lame. I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys actually trying to contemplate that for a moment, but no. All right. I think this episode made up for episode 7. It did. There were issues with it.
definitely.
I did enjoy it. It was one of those rare times where I got caught up in the episode. Folks, I am a fan of Star Trek. And I love watching Star Trek. And it has to be such an egregious error where I'm like, where it pulls me out of the universe. This episode pulled me in. That's the best way I could say it. Labyrinth. How funny, huh? Didn't think about that until
Yeah.
right now. All right. Well, fair enough. Do you guys have any ideas on what this power might be in the form it might take? And anyone in the chat room, if you want to go ahead and comment what you might think. I've already said it's a genie bottle, a surfboard, like I said, a black saber. I mean, what do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be a golden calf? I know that was lame. That was biblical. But what is it going to be? What do you guys think? I'm not going to ask you guys for unless you guys want to come up with an idea right now. Who knows? I think. Are we going to find it at the end of episode 9, or it will be until episode 10 still?
I think it'll be in 10.
I reckon it'll be in 9 because there'll be a battle,
Oh, that's a good point.
and then in 10.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Knowing that
I
they
just hope
have
it's not
the
like a
clues-
control panel or something. Like I hope it looks like a sort of very from the dawn of time piece of technology.
bear skins and nice, right? What does Spock say? Yeah. In a way, it'd be kind of funny if every time when they saw Landru, they pulled the curtain. It was a big old computer. Yeah, I hope it's not something like that. It'd be an interesting homage, but it would be boring if it was. I'm curious what this power will be. Because we know what Genesis was. It was a torpedo.
Yeah.
Okay. We know what the Tox Utat was. You know. It was a small little thing. It's just, we'll see. We'll see what it is. All right, guys. Did you have any other comments, guys, on this?
No, I think we're good.
After this episode, I'm kind of like, kind of bummed. There's only 2 episodes left. This
Yeah, I
left a
feel the
good
same.
taste in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you guys want to meet up again next Saturday, or do you guys want to do in 2 weeks? We'll do both episodes. What do you guys want to do?
I'm open either way.
Aaron?
I reckon we do like 2 weeks. Just because
All
I feel
right.
like there's like
Okay.
kind of more
cool.
to talk about and there's more to connect together, like between. each
I think
episode.
this is going to be a 2-parter, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, duh. It's the final 2 episodes. Yeah. Let's call that. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be on next week, and we're going to be on right after. So today is the 18th. Let's look at the calendar. May 18th. So we will be on June 1st, and for Aaron, it'll be June 2nd in the morning. So, Aaron, it is 7:40 p.m. over here. What time is it tomorrow for you?
It is 10:40 a.m.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So that's actually, wow, it's 12 out, 15 hours then. One way of looking at it. It's actually more than that, but it's okay. Wow. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Any announcements, Grudge?
Not that I can think of.
Aaron?
Nope, got nothing. Got to go back to set building. So
Thank
then I'll
you
have
for-
something to announce.
Thank you for taking the time. Maybe you can share some of the production porn with us if you don't mind. You know, a picture or two, just as a little tease. That way, I know you don't want to give out the entire story, of course, and I appreciate that, Aaron, that you don't. You're a wonderful storyteller on that. But yeah, if you have a picture or two, it might not hurt. If you can, don't sweat it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on in 2 weeks. Everyone else, please head on over to ndbmedia.net. Check out Voyage's fan film, Potemkin Pictures. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the Star Trek universe right now. Folks, there's stuff going on in other universes as well that we don't talk about. It's a nice time to be a fan right now. Last question. Are you guys going to watch the Planet of the Apes movie? This is way off topic. You guys going to watch it?
Definitely.
I haven't seen it yet. I think I'm going to watch it tomorrow or Monday. Are you thinking of watching it, Aaron?
To be honest, I've never really gotten into them. I think I saw the first reboot one that they did, and I think that's
Yeah,
the
I
original.
did too, like 20 years ago or something. Yeah, I have not seen any others, but I'm gonna check this one out. I think this is the Battle for the Planet of the Apes, or I don't know what. But there's not too much else to watch. Otherwise, what are we going to watch? What's Grudge? If
What am I going to watch? Oh, let's see.
I think it's
there's
If
a ton of
the
new
Ryan Reynolds
stuff.
movie.
Yeah, not.
Yeah. Even though that blue shirt guy, that was a funny movie. Did you guys see that one? It was a play on where he was a non-playable character. I think it was Free New. What was it? His character in the movie was Blue Shirt Guy, but I think it was Free Guy or something. It was a video game movie. I'll find it for you guys next time. But all right, it actually wasn't too bad. It was cool. All right, folks, we thank everyone for watching. We appreciate your comments, and thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate that, guys. For everyone else, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have some pictures from Potemkin and maybe even from Voyage's fan film as well. Guys, Godspeed always, peace and long life, and don't forget, what's the? Oh man, did I blow the phrase? Yeah, I did. Watch, here it is, right here. Oh man, oh yeah, there it is. Don't let the door hit ya, where the big bang split ya. All right, guys, we'll see you guys on the other side. What was the name of the program? Oh my God, Lower Decks. See ya.